Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is the horoscope for Gemini. If Gemini is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so, Gemini, we have the 3 of discs, which has everything to do with work. Work. Making resources for yourself. Okay, setting up your life in such a way, yeah, it feels great. Okay. And so when I do see the 3 of discs, I often think, yeah, this is good because you're in a place of feeling motivated to do the work that needs to be done to have the life that you want to have, right? Now, I'm not going to say that, you have to spend your life working yourself to the bone to get that, ultimate dream, whatever that is. Because oftentimes, our work, especially in the physical world, it doesn't lead to that dream and the wholeness that we might, kind of have in our mind. But as the Tao says, the blessing, right? The experience, the sustenance of life, it comes through the work itself, right? And we've all heard this kind of it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. It's the same kind of idea, right? So I see the 3 of discs and I think, okay, well, this might be somebody who has found their thing that they like to do. They've found their chosen career. They enjoy it. They derive meaning from it. This maybe is somebody who is very tactile. They work with their hands a lot. They're, maybe you're somebody who does like a lot of DIY projects. You're building your home, adding on to your home, and actually getting involved with the process, right? You might be somebody who is, always like starting businesses or finding different hustles or whatever it is, but you are motivated, okay? And when you are in this place of kind of being a little bit busy and being focused, right? This is where you really thrive. This is where you can kind of like lose yourself in the sweetness of life. And so let's take a look here. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. Also, if you want to hit the like button or leave a comment, I'd love to hear from you. Okay, so we have a volcano up at the top. Okay, I had a little bit of a technical difficulty. So we're at the volcano. We have the volcano right up here. Okay, so we also have, it looks like a pack animal with a person on top kind of traversing the mountain, but the volcano is getting close to erupting, right? You can even see there is like the smoke, the little bits of smoke starting to pour out of the thing. And we know, yeah, that means there's something happening there. There's some kind of activity. And I'm looking at this as you being on this journey of really kind of activating yourself towards the goal that you have most desired. And this is within the work, maybe relationship, maybe household. It's like something has happened here in this last bit of time, in this last few years. Now, maybe it is that you got divorced, or you know, somebody central to your life maybe passed away. Maybe you were working for a company for a long time and they closed. You know, whatever it is. And that was difficult in itself. But I think that it allowed you kind of the space to be a little more brave. Have you ever, well, and I'm talking about I'm talking about you here, so yes, you probably have. But what I was thinking was, have you ever had your worst fear in whatever situation it is realized, right? You find out, I don't know, you know, oh, your spouse is being unfaithful, you know, and you thought, I don't know how I would ever get through that. I don't know how I could ever, you know, survive such a thing. It would be devastating. And then it happens. And I'm not saying this is what happened. I'm trying to think of some of the worst things, but like not the worst, but you know, some of the things that we all are like, hopefully that does not happen, right? And it occurs, and it's awful, and the fallout is devastating, and you know, it is one of the tower moments of your life, but you are faced with it and you figure it out. You survive. You continue forward, right? And of course, you don't ever want to go through something like that again, but you know that you will be okay. And in these kinds of ordeals, we are fortified. We become the strength that we need. Hopefully, right? We become the strength that we need. And so I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, it's like you have this thing that you want to do, and maybe everybody around you is saying, hey, look, not a good idea. The economy's crazy right now. The world is, you know, well, listen, the world is how it always is, okay? Don't let people fool you. The world is always chaotic and also wonderful and beautiful and full of potential at the same time. If you watch the news or if you don't, right? Either way. It's always been like this. It will always be like this. But, you know, we like to find reasons to be worried. We like to find reasons to say, maybe this isn't the best time. Maybe I wait a little bit, you know. But I do feel like, you know, against it all, you're saying, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to invest myself into this path. I'm going to get on my horse or my mule or whoever, right? And we're going to go up this dang mountain. Now, there is the volcano. So it is. It's a little volatile. This might be a tricky thing that you're going to be, you know, very involved, watching your every step, making adjustments where you have to, where you need to. It's not going to be easy. And usually, because I am overly cautious, I would say, don't do it. But I know, you know yourself. You know what you're capable of. And you know that the reward here is going to be worth it. So, I'm not saying, you know, if you have some amazing idea for some kind of like, you know, second job or side hustle or, you know, whatever it is. Don't quit the day job. Start the business. Do the thing. But don't quit the day job. This is me as a Virgo saying this. Let that, I mean, you know, let it thrive for a while. Get in there. Make sure that you like what you're doing. Don't put all of your eggs in the same basket. But be brave. Because I know that you are. You know, and the hard work, that's nothing for a Gemini. You all have the work ethic. Now, listen, you might get a bad rap because you kind of are sometimes all over the place. You maybe don't always finish everything you start. I'm saying this as the mother of a Gemini. But you're so efficient and your vision is big. That's why you get the bad rap that you do, because a lot of times us who have this very earthy, low, you know, focused vision, we don't have the ability to see the bigger picture like you do. You also have the ability to know when something isn't working and you're willing to walk away from it. Where a lot of us will stick around way too long, right into ruin, right? Gemini, you will start something and put your all into it and you see, this is not working. I don't even like doing this or whatever. I'm done. And we might think, okay, well, that person just gives up easily. No, you follow your intuition. You know that this thing isn't for you. You know that this thing is not going to end up working out. And you're smart. You're smart for following those feelings, right? Now, we also have the rabbit. Okay, you can see the legs, the body. Here we go up here to the ears. Okay, so I know that there's abundance. And I know that this thing, whatever you're starting, and if you want to share, put it in the comment section. The thing I love, let me just say, the thing I love about the world we live in right now is that anybody can start doing something, making something. You know, even I live out in like rural upper Midwest, right? We don't have barely any neighbors. The towns that we live around are very small. Yet, I meet people almost every day, right? Because my daughter has all these classes and, you know, things, events and things we go to. So I meet other parents and, you know, people in the community and whatever. I meet people every day that are doing things. You know, the other day I met a lady who, she puts like vinyl stickery kind of things on cups and I don't know, like different things that you can buy. She'll do the design and she'll put it on there and make some beautiful, you know, like a gift for somebody or whatever. Or she was doing like team ones for the whole team, these bottles or whatever. And I thought, people are so innovative, you know, they're enterprising. And we live in a time where more and more of us have access to doing whatever our heart's desire really is. You know, if you want to have a company that makes like wallets out of duct tape, you could totally do that. You could sell them on Etsy. I'm sure they do, you know, and we live in a world where that's possible. And I think that's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And so I look at this rabbit and I see you are the type of person who is always going to find a way to that abundance. And why is the rabbit abundance? Yeah, because they procreate a lot. And there's a lot of them, right? And so I'm looking at this and yeah, I see you just like multiplying your resources through the work that you're doing. And this is going to be a good year for you. Now, I know we're at the very end of it, but listen, I'm not talking about just now. Going into 2025, right? And that might be really the year of years for you. Now, I know, again, the world it feels very, very chaotic. The economy, very scary, right? But those of us who are taking our, our future into our own hands, which I know that you're doing, nobody's ever going to sink our little boats, right? Now, we might not have huge ships, but nobody's going to sink my little dinghy, We're going to keep on. And if one thing doesn't work, we'll try something else. And I see that is the spirit of what's going on here. And I love it. Let me just tell you, I love it. Now, we also have a deer who is sitting right here. Okay, so I look at that and I also think this is not only you making money, making something for yourself, a little business, a little side hustle, getting that raise, climbing up the corporate ladder or whatever. But this is a spiritual event for you. This is confirmation that you can do just about whatever the heck you want to do. Because you have that intelligence, you have that talent, that ability, that motivation, and you have that vision. You have that thing. You have that thing. Now, we also have the number 73. So 73 seems important. We also have the Empress right here. You can see sitting. Here's the head, body. And I feel like pointing. We also have, it looks like, I'm going to say like a beet or some kind of root vegetable, but also looks like a heart. And so I'm looking at this, and the Empress to me is always Persephone in my mind. It's always this goddess of duality, of the underworld, of spring, bringing life and abundance, but also knowing when it is time to go dormant, right? Following the natural cycle of things. So I feel that there is a love in your life, and I feel like like all relationships, it goes through different seasons. And I feel that you are in a place where maybe it feels a little less involved. And I think that has a lot to do with you both being busy with your own things and you being really driven with the work. And I think at times you maybe worry about, well, we're not connecting as often or as romantically. Maybe there's not the affection as much there right now or whatever it is. But I think that that the love is everlasting. This is the love that is heart to heart. And when you come to these realizations, you start to realize like, hey, we haven't, had a dinner together. We haven't gone on a date in a while. We haven't, whatever it is, maybe it's somebody from the past we haven't spoken in a while or seen each other. I feel like this is an indicator that, yeah, maybe it's time to carve out a little space in your life, a little bit of time in your schedule so that you can kind of do some things together. And, sometimes it's not easy to get back into that groove of things, but you know, it's most necessary. When my husband and I first had our daughter, you know, we're older. So we had our daughter. My husband was like 40 and I was like 35. And we had been living for ourselves, you know, for for so much of our adult life that you know, we could indulge in each other endlessly, right? And our work was in such a way that, yeah, we got to be together all the time. And so when we had our daughter and we, you know, we're married and have a home and all this stuff, we had to start scheduling things. And it was kind of like, okay, this feels weird. It's not as organic, or we don't perceive it always as being organic. And, but it's like, what's the alternative, right? Sometimes you just have to kind of, yeah, this is our, you know, couple hours in the evening that's just for us. We're not going to talk about work. We're not going to talk about, you know, school or, you know, what chores need to be done, what projects we're going to be working on together or apart or whatever. We're just going to be together, you know. And of course, when you get to that point in the evening, you don't always feel like, okay, well, I just want to sit here and stare at Jeopardy or whatever, you know. But it's important, you know. And when you come to this clarity, this moment where you're like, well, maybe we've been kind of neglecting this, you know, our time together a little bit. Maybe we need to, like, yeah, set up a date or go on a little weekend vacation or whatever it is, you know. Maybe sometimes, and this is where I get myself in trouble, maybe it is that we're always doing things that I want to do. I'm the one that comes up with a plan for our extracurricular things or our little family outings. And sometimes it's like, okay, well, what does Daddy want to do? Let's see what Poppy wants to do. You know, maybe maybe you need to be more proactive about, you know, what his ideas of the weekend should be. You know, and you do. You come to these clarities and you move forward in the way that is going to be beneficial for everybody. And so I look at this and I feel like it is a love that is enduring, a love that is unending, but a love that maybe needs a little TLC, right? A little bit of attention. Now, I'm going to go ahead. We're going to look at our Oracle of the Radiant Sun, and I'm just going to pick out 3 cards. I kind of want to see, like, what is going on in the next couple weeks here. We have enthusiasm. Okay, so that makes sense to me. This whole vibe of your projects, your relationship, everything else, it feels like there is enthusiasm for sure. Now, we also have fortune, which again makes sense. We have order, okay? And that, yeah, I feel like you're getting all of your stuff in a row here, and you're getting everything set up to succeed. And it does. It just feels like this love, this enthusiasm, this, you know, just enjoyment of what you're doing. You have all these ideas, all of these kind of passionate whims that are happening. I think it really lends itself to that fortune that, you know, we're all looking for, but I think that you are finding, and it is finding you. Okay. So, big emphasis on making sure you have a plan, right? Don't do this in chaos. Don't do it haphazardly. I think the more you can get things set up in a coherent system, the better off you're going to be. Okay. Now, I'm going to take a little sip of my drink. We're going to look at this plate here. We have a temple. Church, temple, mosque, whatever it is exactly. It looks to me like a place of shelter, salvation, coming home to that place that it is. It's like the channel to the divine for you. Whatever this is, if this is your backyard, a special tree, if this is your church, your mosque, you know, your bedroom, your getting into bed at night and getting ready to sail away into the great unknown, you know, whatever it is, I feel that it is calling to you. And what that means to me, I imagine it is this calling to get back into these spiritual practices. Now, maybe things that you have done before, or maybe these are new. Maybe you are finding your new, you know, system, school of thought. Maybe you grew up in a certain religion and you kind of have lived without that for some years. And now it's kind of like, I want to find something for myself, right? I want to find people, fellowship, you know, a community. Or maybe, you know, you're like myself. I am a solitary practitioner aside from the work I do with my husband. Again, shout out to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My husband, Paul, over there is amazing and so very magical. But you know, you might be finding something for yourself to do privately, you know, unseen or whatever it is. But I do feel like this is a huge emphasis here. This is something that will be coming in the next period of time, the next year. I feel like all of these things, it feels like you are jump-starting your life. And that's really what it is. I feel like it's kind of like things have maybe felt kind of stagnant and you've been looking for a way to kind of get it all going. And as the ball starts rolling, I see you just like overhauling different parts of your experience and getting things into that place of near perfection. All right, so we also have, it looks like a comet. So a celestial body kind of flying overhead. And I do feel like this is a blessing. It is a reminder of the constant movement of life. Nothing remains in a fixed state. No matter how much you want it to, it is impossible. The other thing I forgot to mention, we have a dolphin or a porpoise up here, okay? Very psychic being. Absolutely, when I see this, I'm like, yes, you are maybe clairvoyant, you are a psychic, you are a medium, something, okay? This energy is real big. And I think it has a lot to do with the work you're doing. I do feel that you're probably, you know, doing something within the spiritual, maybe occult, maybe religious, maybe it is some kind of healing or outreach, whatever it is exactly, you're connecting with the world around you. And it is from a very psychic place. Also feel like you are definitely an empath. You're definitely an empath. Now, we also have a person up here holding a snake. Okay, so I also just wanted to point out that there will be somebody coming along that is going to help you with this work. And it might be somebody that like kind of knows the ins and outs of something where you're like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I need some help. I'm going to call like my brother-in-law. I'm going to call, you know, this person I went to high school with. I know that this is what they work in. We're going to link up, you know, figure it out, you know, whatever it is. But take advantage of the people, and not take advantage of them, but take advantage of their skill sets, right? If you know somebody who knows something about something that you are struggling with, don't be afraid to get out there, communicate, use the resources around you, because I think this will really lend itself to kind of having a stronger sense of what you're doing ultimately, okay? All right, we're going to do our gratitude affirmation cards. And I'm going to flip through. I'm going to stop where it feels right. Innovative magic. I am thankful for for technology's embrace, which entwines connections across the globe, creates space for purpose and creativity, and makes magic possible. Practice. Contemplate the ways technology has improved your life and has made has made different tasks easier. Has made different tasks easier. Well, yeah, from the top to the bottom, we've all benefited. I'm not, I am so about technomancy. I came up in, the late 90s, early thousands, super involved in a movement called synchromysticism and chaos magic. And so if you know anything about these schools of thought, these systems, so much of it is intertwined with the use of technology. And, it's just a vast landscape of places to be employing magic, Even this, I consider doing these readings and having them on the internet. So I'm connecting with all kinds of people and other practitioners and, putting my energies into these works, and it is technomancy in my estimation. And so I'm not somebody who rails against technology, not whatsoever, and so all of these things, I think of the internet as the philosopher's stone. I think of our ability to access information as one of the great glories of humanity. Now, of course, everything has its shadow side, and we dwell deeply in that in our collective. But we can choose to use these things how we do. And so it is, in my opinion, my humble little nonsensical opinion, that the technology of my lifetime it has been a great blessing. Absolutely. So, however you feel about that, that's your own thing. A lot of us too, grew up on both sides, right? Very analog upbringing, and then we came into these technologies, and I don't know what it's going to be like for these kids growing up with access to the universe so readily, but I don't know. I spent most of my childhood without we had a TV, of course, and radio, but it'll be interesting to see. I can tell you that the kids that I encounter, because I am around children a lot with having a 4-year-old, and she's very busy, and these kids are super intelligent. I mean, I could cry thinking about it. I mean, they just know about so much. Yesterday we were at the library, and there was a few groups of families, and I think maybe like a meetup kind of thing for homeschooled kids. And there was a kid that was maybe like 5 or 6, and he was showing everybody this artwork he made, and it was like a house with a window that from the perspective of standing in the house looking out the window. This was a young kid, by the way. I mean, just young. And outside, he had drawn like a little map, and he was like, this is a picture of me looking out the window, looking at Belize. And Wouldn't that be so cool if I went there someday? And he had drawn the map of Bolivia. I was beside myself. I'm like, these kids are amazing. I mean, they're just, they bring me such joy watching them learn and embrace things and be just in awe of the world, of the things that they're doing. And I could go on and on. I don't know. It makes me happy. But yes, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you. I thank you for spending this time with me. You know, subscribe, like, leave a comment. Absolutely want to hear from you. I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk real soon. Good night. Good night. Good night.